Welcome back, America, to this Just the News, Real America's Voice special report. What bullets couldn't silence the Charlie Kirk story. My co-host, AMAC CEO Rebecca Weber is going to rejoin me in a few moments. She stepped out, but I'm very excited to have this next guest. He is one of the most influential thinkers in the world. He makes us laugh. He makes us think. He makes us tweet all day long. He is one of the most extraordinary folks I've seen in the communication space in a long time. He also was one of Charlie Kirk's close friends. He is the one, the only, Benny Johnson. Benny, good to have you on, my friend.
John, I was just astonished there because you're like, this is one of the most influential thinkers of our time. I'm like, who's joining the panel? This is going to be amazing. Wow, we're going to have Victor Davis Hanson or Thomas Sowell on here. I can't wait to share a panel with them.
And it turns out it's just you and me, right?
Yeah, don't line up an IQ test, me against Charlie. I think he's got 70 or 90, maybe 100 points on me.
He was
but we're proud to call him a friend, John, and all I've wanted to do is defend my friend these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you've done that so brilliantly, and I think you also have helped us understand where the real issue in America is. I want to, before we get to that, before we get to the leftist intolerance and violence and this escalation from censorship now to execution, let's just start with the Charlie you knew, because you knew him in a very special way.
Yeah, so the Charlie I knew was an actual human being, and what I think is remarkable about the Charlie story is that because of the capacity for our modern communication infrastructure to sort of reach deep into the heart of someone's life, people felt like they knew Charlie. Maybe some did, millions didn't, right, actually personally know him. I know, John, you knew him, and I know that he loved your reporting. And if you don't mind me just staying for a moment, that nobody used John Solomon's word as effectively the voice of God than Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was constantly using John Solomon reporting. He was constantly sending us your articles, your breaking news, and your scoops. We had numerous group chats with Charlie, and it was a John Solomon link at 2 a.m. constantly from Charlie. So, you know, I know that we both lost a friend, and I know that we both knew him together as a person. But what you saw this weekend was that Charlie Kirk touched the lives of tens of millions of people, and they all really truly had this connection with him. When I got the honor to speak at his memorial, I said, you know, raise your hand, stand up, give me an amen if Charlie Kirk helped you Christ-center your life, if Charlie Kirk helped you achieve a little closer to the American dream. And, well, I got to tell you, it's got to be close to 100,000 people stood up, and I can't see the people watching at home, but that's like the effect that Charlie had. It was the spirit of a revival, and I'll just say this as an ode to my friend. Charlie, you defended me when I was indefensible. You were there for me when my family was under attack. And my brother, I will be there for you now in this time.
Yeah, that you have, and for his whole family and his beautiful widow and his children. I have found an extraordinary dynamic. So you're right, millions knew him before he died, and then there are millions that have had him come to life to them since he's died. They're addicted. I was traveling with someone the other day who said, I have never watched Charlie Kirk until after his assassination, and now I can't stop watching his videos and his debates. He has, his voice is as alive today as it was the day he was shot, and I think that's an extraordinary thing. The assassin's bullet couldn't sign. In fact, it probably made his voice even more strong.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that the sign of a martyr?
Yeah.
And isn't that pretty remarkable? And John, you and I have both lived through the death of great men. We lived through the death of, let's say, Ronald Reagan, right? Let's talk about another conservative iconoclast leader, right? And did that have the kind of effect that Charlie Kirk's death did? Well, the answer is no. You know, they didn't trip. I don't think Ronald Reagan was on social media, but Charlie's doubled and tripled in following on all of his social media accounts.
It's amazing.
Since his assassination, that doesn't happen to people. People's voices don't grow stronger. This is why my contention here is that in the true tradition of Christian martyrdom, Charlie Kirk is a proper martyr. He grows stronger for the faith. And what you witnessed this past weekend, John, was simply the largest apostolic event in human history. That's just a matter of fact.
Yep.
through the miracle of technology, tens of millions and probably hundreds of millions by the time it's all done, saw this moment and then saw the President of the United States and Don Jr., both of whom I know you know closely, John. They don't often talk about Jesus Christ live on stage, right? It's just something more private for them. And they did that in front of this massive audience. It was really the largest single apostolic event in human history.
Yeah, so well put. It really was an extraordinary moment, and faith is bursting out. People are going back to church. I'm a Catholic, and the Catholic Church is seeing an extraordinary resurgence in last 2 weeks as a result of Charlie's death. It is an amazing thing. I had the great Bill O'Reilly on the show a couple days ago, and he has a new book out, Confronting Evil, and I think that is our generation's call to action. We have maybe allowed, many of us, certainly not you, but there are a lot there that, we go to our work every day and we're like, I don't want to deal with that crazy left. They're going to be fine. Just ignore them. But we can't ignore what's going on in the left anymore. We've gone from, all right, ridicule to censorship to debanking to prosecution, now prosecution to execution. How bad is it on the left, and what sort of national conversation do we need to have?
Yeah, I have been trying to take a baseball bat to the knees of the newest left-wing hoax. There's a hoax that is being peddled out there right now, John, and it is an op that is being weaponized by Democrats and their leadership and their allies in the corporate press. And the op is this: both sidesism. They say, we have no blame for this, even though every single left-wing attack that you see is clearly fomented by our side, by our demonization and dehumanization of our political enemies. We bear no responsibility because, the right is violent too. And to that I say, John, I brought a little handy chart for you. Hopefully we can get nice and crisp shot here.
On that. Yeah,
this is the right-wing violence right here.
Yep.
Over the last 5 years versus left-wing violence. And you can see here, there's really no comparison.
None. Let's
take an example here, just over the last 30 days. Okay, so that's 5 years. Well, maybe this includes the BLM riots. Well, that's just a once in every 60 years event for the left. Let's just go the last 30 days. Okay, let's give them a bogey on that one.
Yeah.
Last 30 days, we have a trans radical who shot up a church. He hates Christians, hates Donald Trump, wrote left-wing iconography on his tactical gear before he went and murdered children. We have a trans activist living with his furry boyfriend who shot Charlie Kirk and is a left-winger through and through, according to his family. And then we have an anti-ICE murderer yesterday who opened fire on an ICE facility, left-wing iconography written on his bullets. Now, what has been the response from the left? Okay, so you have three sociopaths that go out and do this stuff that are of the left. What has been the response? I think that's very important, right? So the response from the left has been not quiet reflection and ponderance of what can they do better. It has been further terrorism, John. They have attacked an local ABC News station with bullets, a spray of bullets. They have placed bombs on a Fox News local affiliate vehicle. There have been dozens of assaults or desecrations of Charlie Kirk memorials. Thousands and thousands of leftists have celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk, including Jimmy Kimmel, who got his show suspended. And 58 House Democrats have decided that they are not going to vote to denounce violence. So that seems like it's a real problem on the left. That's been their response. Our response, John, has been to quietly pray and go to church.
Yeah.
So I won't buy the both sides lie. That's an op that needs to be destroyed. And I really want to forcefully ask for the funders of the right to create some type of data infrastructure where you can properly track these crimes. Put a proper name behind it. I'm going to call on think tanks to be doing this. And it's time to get real crime statistics and real crime data. There are billionaires out there that are spending money on things that are far less useful than this. Show us the real problem in the country so we can actually address it. The single greatest existential threat of our time is left-wing violence.
That is a brilliant idea. We need a minute-by-minute tracking system. And I'll tell you what, we'll put Just the News and Real America's Voice right in the middle of that. Every day we'll be putting out the latest data. Let's get that system up and running. Benny, you are an extraordinary voice. You have passion, you have wisdom, you have an extraordinary following, and it is a great honor to have you on the show on a day when we reflect on not only what Charlie left us, but the mission he's left us to continue. It's really a great honor to have you on today.
Likewise, John. Again, like I don't think I'd even have a podcast if it wasn't for your reporting. So I just, I deeply appreciate that. Let me know what your Venmo is.
Listen, buddy, we're going to get you out a lot more. You are so fun to have on. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Thanks, John.
All right, what a great conversation. What a great guy, folks. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, one of my good friends, Article E Project founder Mike Davis, here to talk about what can be legally done to stop this political violence. We'll have that next, right after these messages. But first, a homework assignment. Go to amac.us/justnews right now because you can get 33% off a 5-year membership. I'm a 5-year card-carrying member. You should be too. That's just a little more than $1 a month. That's all it costs. You don't get anything for $1 a month now. Do that. Go there right now, amac.us/justnews. Say thank you for the extraordinary conversations AMAC makes possible every month right here on this network. All right, back in a second with Mike Davis.